Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Video masa chu basic maths physics adinga ngai cha basic maths is ya bon chang ke bol chang hitain. To hi from the next video we are going to start the main part of physics. So before going into the main part of physics, so let's see how to study physics for competitive exams. JEE lole NEET hoa ki gong hoa dinga na. Physics ho hi ti simdiam ipilekha simdingham ti hi chom taga biaten. Okay, so NEET exam ki gong jing na ai na hi ale. Suppose you're preparing for a medical exam, so how do you study physics? Hichi hi kay ma opinion hi na. So I have been teaching medical students for quite some times now. Kay ma experience ajong I have seen the previous year's questions. So based on that, so this is what I recommend. So first I have written here class lecture notes. So the role of a teacher, classroom teaching, it is very, very important. Okay, you should be able to understand what is being taught in the class. You have to ask your teachers. Okay, classroom teaching so it is the most important part of your preparation. Then, so next you have to study NCERT textbook. NCERT textbook with the so patia class lecture hoyala class NCERT textbook theory on simngai base alone. So lecture on here or if you have more time, so go through the theory in NCERT. I don't recommend so much because it is very difficult to understand the language used in NCERT physics textbook. Okay. NCERT is simple in heading so you have to solve the solve examples. Book of solve examples in exercise a book kala do theory kala dunga example khalini kipia. So those things you have to solve them. So there are graphs in the textbook. Okay, you have to study those graphs. Try to understand them. By heart, so in you have to study them and try to understand them. And then you also have tables. For example, system of particles chapter table moment of inertia table. So that table, those type of tables are very, very important. By heart you okay, so remember, solve examples, graphs and tables. So these are most important in NCERT textbook while you study. NCERT textbook theory in here what is the other alternatives? So you have a book called Concepts of Physics. Okay, so written by HC Verma. So I will personally recommend you. Theory in here you refer to this book. Okay, as you should book a theory, it is written in a very simple, understandable language. So if you cannot understand a theory in NCERT, so refer to Concepts of Physics book textbook theory. Okay, about HC Verma buga PP simdingham NCERT solve example tachun chilai ke bang tim na HC book solve example hozong if you have time you go through it. And the most important thing in this book is you have to solve the objective 1 in this textbook. At Verma objective 1 so please if you have time go through it. Okay, abana so next is what? So next I have written here, refer to only one book for practice. Practice so question solved question solved nothing book atamin. For example, you have by DC Pandey you have objective physics for NEET. Okay, objective physics by part niyom in asa and then you have MTG Fingertips is also there, and then you have some other books like NEET Champion see these are called bazaar books. Okay, marketing purpose so to attract the customers, it's like question level so some of the questions which are absolutely not necessary. Okay, so I will recommend you to use these books for practice. You choose only one. You choose only one and then you solve questions from there. Okay, for practice purpose. Okay, and finally you have to solve previous year's question, which is like the most important. Okay, very, very important. Let's see again class notes na NCERT textbook NCERT sunga to solve example graphs tables abana to HC Verma objective 1. Okay, and then practice na, and then previous year's question ading ai chalai link ni kan ko in website ni na website mas apa to NEETPrep hin net ani na pa to ExamSIDE. So I have so I think these two are most best website for previous year's question. Okay, so I think this much is enough na chilaya hi beta book kan pi ho jong hi. So here I have written one book. Hi book khel jong sim ngai no na. Suppose coaching na la so suppose you are in a coaching institute material nan pi uwa na le hi material jong so practice ana man the so book sim lo wa na. Instead of these books you can also refer to that coaching materials. So you choose one, don't do both. Okay, no need to study 2-3 books. Okay, that is not necessary. So now let's move on to JEE. Okay, engineering exam ma ki gon he wale hi book list ho hina hi pa wang hi ke man jong JEE linga kana refer hin. Okay, so this is from my experience, my personal list, so I'm just sharing it. First, class notes. Classroom understanding is the most important. Okay, classroom aki helso you have to understand. If you don't understand, you ask your teachers, you ask your doubts. So that is very, very important. Anina chu, so HC Verma. So this one you have to study compulsory na. Medical hadi nga so HC Verma hoi optional tabang. So ay nga JEE ki kon helson HC Verma is compulsory, you have to do it, including those questions in the exercise. Medical exam hadi ki kon helson HC Verma exercise ko solve ngai lo. So if you are attending my lectures here, I will solve all the important questions from HC Verma, whatever is necessary. Medical exam hadi nga IPP ngai ham ti na. So everything I have prepared it. So if you are a JEE student, you have to solve the questions from HC Verma. Okay, the exercise. HC Verma is over. Okay, once you are quite comfortable, so you can move on to DC Pandey. So like DC Pandey a book ngao maintain na. So there are 5 books. You have mechanics 1, mechanics 2, electricity, wave thermodynamics, to optics, modern physics. So this so these 2 is more than enough. So if you don't work very hard, so you won't be able to finish these books. Okay, so you finish this HC Verma a couple of times. Okay, and then you move on to DC Pandey. Irodov kiti book. So this is for JEE advanced purpose. It is not compulsory. So you have to solve only selected questions from this book. So if you are na question sang level sang ta na solve no vale, so you will find those questions in Irodov. Okay, and similarly previous year's question is important. So I think this much is enough for JEE preparation. Okay, so I hope these things will help you in your preparation, in your journey, right? So these are my recommendations. Okay, so finally, so remember this. Okay, for any competitive exams, so you have to know the syllabus. Okay, and then you have to analyze the previous year's question a question exact set aki repeat lo vangana question pattern pa ho. So sometimes those question patterns are repeated. Okay, you will observe those questions if you go through previous year's questions. Okay, and then last thing, so remember, it is better to cover one book 10 times than to cover 10 books one time. Okay, in physics. Okay, so we'll end this video here, and from the next video we're going to start kinematics, motion in 1D. Okay, so I hope this video helps you. Thank you.